I came there and I met this man, and I left out of there a better person. It's a privilege for me to introduce to you.
In the name of the omnipotent God, omnipresent, omnitemporal, omnibenevolent, and the omniscient God, the most merciful, the most gracious, and the most compassionate, the proprietor of space, time, and beyond, the fiduciary, custodian, and adjudicator, arbitrator, and the judge of all there is and the non-existence. Now, you tell me non-existent, that should not perhaps make too much sense. But non-existence, which is beyond our nervous system, beyond our brain. But this non-existence is infinitely filled with dancing, sparkling, dazzling particles. That each particles, infinite, beyond count, are imbued with life, ready to maneuver at Lord's order. What we see right now as a visible world, what we witness, is not what it is. Because there is another life, invisible life, percolated with weird stuff that the most prominent scientists cannot figure out. People like Max Planck, Bauer, Heisenberg, they don't know what's happening. Even Einstein, they don't know what's going on. We cannot formulate something that science is applicable to science. We can't do it. What they're saying is the same particle can be in a million places at the same time. The particle that is made of atom, electrons, quarks, that you cannot see with the naked eye. You cannot see it. Now, common sense tells you the whole is made of the part. You dismantle anything here, that thing, when put together, makes the whole. So, if the particles can be seen in a million places at the same time, and we are made of atom, we are not strangely made of something else. We are made of atoms. We can also be seen at a million places at the same time. But bear in mind, not in this visible world, not here. He just didn't make us like that. In a world that we talk spiritual, subatomic particles and quantum mechanics maneuver there. That has made everybody, all these prominent scientists, to wonder what is happening. What is happening? And God being so gracious, they change to believe in God. To believe in God. The only thing that will give you the ticket to go to a higher echelon in heavens is to help others. That's the only way you can get there. There is no other way. You can't be selfish and self-interest and materially based person. Well, you have to live, as Marx says. I'm afraid that's what he says. He says, before any priority, before anything prior, eating, drinking, sleeping, procreating comes prior to anything else. But I say it's not true. This is only a fuel. This is only a fuel for your car to carry you, your body to carry you, to do good, to believe in people, to believe in God. this is not the priority, because his philosophy based on materially based theory. So is Darwinism, so is existentialism, so is empiricism, so is physicalism, and so on. Naturalism, and so on. They all come to a point that science is the key. But science, the contrary is, the science says it's not me. That was past. That was when we were evolutionizing, reaching to an awakened stage. That is not who we are. People listen. Any godly person would say, if that's the case, I better put my ducks in a row. Because it seems like everything is disciplined and everything is orderly. What am I doing? Infringing on other people's right, killing innocent people, act of terrorism, wars of aggression. They say we are 99.99999 billion number of percent the same. We are more than siblings. That's what, I'm not saying that. The laboratory that they diagnose and they disintegrate humanity, human beings, that's what they say. I believe in whatever steps that I take is orchestrated, is managed by God. I don't believe in me. I am not an existentialist person. I am not. So it depends who you talk to. One day my father was coming from Iran, a happy capitalist, and I was supposed to meet him at the airport. And then he called and said the plane is going to be delayed at least 3 hours. So it was my friend with me, Saeed, and I say, look, so what do we do? That's what they say. But we, from Stockton, California, we drove to San Francisco. We go to San Francisco airport, and we stay there. Now it's about, because I'm around like 12 o'clock, and then I see I hear my name, and I go to the phone and say, and this is my father. I say, where are you? He says, I'm in your apartment. I said, are you kidding me? He said, no, we came at 9 o'clock. I said, well, they gave me the wrong information, so the plane really was not delayed when we called them, correct? But there is a reason behind that now. And then we come, I said, okay, Saeed, let's go back. So the car gets a flat tire, so we fix that. And then what happens, I detour to a wrong place, and then with the grace of God, I find it, and the road is like now 1 o'clock, drizzling, very cold, snowy, in San Francisco weather, you know how it is. Very difficult to I had a big Dodge, which any student would have. You could put 20 people in there. So I was just driving the car, and I said, Saeed, he says, yes. I said, I see something. He says, at that time, they say, Shawn, you have an eagle eye. I was proud of that, not now. I wear glasses now. But he says, there's something there. And I said, well, I don't see anything. I said, no, honestly, I see something. So I slowed down and slowly approach it, and I see it's a half-dead body almost, a half-dead body lying in the street close there. Well, honestly, I burst to tears. I couldn't help myself. I could have lifted a horse then. So I kneeled down and I lift him up. Saeed helped me. We put him on the back of the car, but I don't know if he's dead or like he's freezing to death. He's just barely breathing. And I go 90 or maybe 100 miles. Says, Shawn, you're crying, you're going 100 miles, you're going to kill us. I said, no, we got to get to the hospital. And then all of a sudden, with the grace of God, police siren starts coming. There's 2 police cars following us. I said, Shawn, stop. I said, okay, but this guy's going to die. So I pull over. The police comes, a very, very sweet person. If he's alive, God keep him alive. He's dead, God bless his soul. He said, what are you doing? I said, we're going. And then he put the lights, and this guy is, I don't know if he's dead or not. And he looked, no hesitation. He said, follow me. So I follow him. He goes not as fast as I went, but I follow him. One ahead of me, one behind. We get him to the hospital, and thanks God, the guy makes it. So the story is sometimes God delays things for me as a human being with a limited nervous system and brain cannot manifest, cannot understand, cannot decipher what is happening. But believe you me, believe in Him, and whatever you are doing, just do the good work. One more thing. If you have not put your ducks in the road with Him, if you have not straighten it with Him, here, no matter how much you plead, I don't think He's answering. That's my experience. Someone else, I don't know. But once you are as disciplined as this sun, as disciplined as this moon, as disciplined as the breaths you take, He will never put you down. He will never unanswer you. He will always answer you. But first, in here, you have to make sure you have straightened the whole thing, the whole concept of your living with Him first. And if you're convinced that, say, and if sometimes something happens, say, God, maybe you're not answering, what's happening, have patience. Have patience. We are not made of matter. We are a spirit. When people see something of their own kind in trouble, they go 100%. Most people. And if they don't, they just have not matured yet. Agnostics believe that the proof of God is unknown. There may be a God or there may not be a God. Again, a very immature, very shallow-oriented mind. Naturalists, always they all say the same, say in nature, science can overcome everything. Eventually, we reach to science telling us what to do, and that's the truth. Now, Darwinism is something that it's really did the mankind wrong, very wrong. Because people at the position of power and fame and influence, either science or faith or legal, what have you, social, cultural, they have to watch what they're saying, because it's very important, because we are all born ignorant. Now, from ignorance, you can escalate to awakeness and enlightenment, or you can go down to stupidity, because ignorance and stupidity are two different things. Ignorance are potentiated to grow and go up, and they are potentiated to go down. So when there are millions of people vulnerable to stupidity. You cannot just say anything you like, because there are people, for example, terrorism or COVID-19, the pandemic that is going on. Somebody is stupid someplace did it. Or many things in life, you have to realize and comprehend and understand there are people out there that are vulnerable to stupidity. Not everybody is a God-oriented person or faith-oriented person that believes in it, and not hypocrisy now. There's lots of hypocrite. But let me tell you, the sin with the hypocrite is more sinful than people that don't believe in God, because at least they are sincere, and you know what they're doing. You don't get stabbed in the back. So that's very important. I make it simple. Civility of mind and manner is the first key to existence. Civility of mind and manner. Otherwise, you belong to jungles. And there is no doubt about it. Beasts, they don't have civility of mind and manner. Why do we have? Because we have conscience, we have intelligence, we are part of Him. I told you, you are the only entity that can have outside body experience. Because I believe, maybe you said this guy is superstitious, maybe the word, but I believe if you go and break your leg, think about it. See what you did a year or 2 days ago, or a day or 2 days ago. Think about it. Think about it. What did you do wrong? And meditate on that. Believe me, you will come with an answer. Maybe something, misunderstanding someplace, that you hurt somebody's feeling, you hurt somebody's, position, embarrassed them, or did something wrong to them, infringe in their rights, and all of that. Jesus never raised a cane on anybody, never crossed the sword with anybody, never injured, maimed, or killed anybody. He was the essence of compassion. He was what awakening means. And that's a fact. And that's a fact. And when you are being nailed to the cross, and you say, God, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing, that's not earthly talk, that's heavenly talk. Or when they bring this woman to him and push him, say something about this woman. They want to test him. He said, this adulterous woman says, well, if any of you didn't do any sin, cast the first stone. So very convincing. He's talking very heavenly, very convincing. So that also, and then you look at the course of the history, see maybe other people did other stuff to instigate or to promote, a better word, their faith, so to speak, by hostile means. He never did that. He fought. Now, nobody should think that Lord Jesus was not a peaceful revolutionary. He would fight the Romans, the most horrific system, in his own way. In his own way. When he said, if I remember, the foxes have holes, the birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. Wasn't Lord Jesus that said that? And that's deep. If I hear it and I'm the king, I say, well, this guy is a revolutionary. What is he trying to do? And that's a fact. That's in Bible. Let me give you an example of the miracles of life. Now, how fast is the Earth moving? Our galaxy, which is made of planets, motion through universe is as fast as astounding 1.3 million miles per hour. The galaxy. Or 2.1 million kilometers per hour. 1.3 million, and you're sitting here in a harmonious way, laughing, having our livelihood. But then the surface of the Earth at the equator moves at the speed of 460 meters per second, or roughly 1,000 miles per hour. Now, why don't we become decimated? Why don't we become destroyed or annihilated? Because the speed is constant. It don't fluctuate. It don't fluctuate. It don't go up and down. It don't pause. One pause, we are done. Now, anybody will think of awesome management and awesome design. How could that be? How could the galaxy go for 1.3 million miles per hour and then you're part of it and you don't feel it? The planet Earth, 1,000 miles per hour? Many non-believers, this is a good subject, many non-believers will say it's the age of consciousness and intelligence. People can manage to be good. They don't need God. And look what we got ourselves into. I'm not going to go through the violence and crime-infested societies and all of these hazards in life, and on and on and on and on, globally, really spreading all over. But unless you have God to back you up, we are a nobody. And here is the truth. many believe is a dangerous world that we live in, but not too much care, not too many ask why. Why is it so perilous to live in our world? I believe it is so essential for humanity to give the utmost priority to those souls that haven't yet reached the enlightenment from ignorance, which without a doubt we are all born with. And since there are those even in the 21st century, those who have, I am afraid, descended to stupidity from ignorance rather than awakening, making them very vulnerable to, God forbid, for doing the unthinkable, and many do. Imagine a dark soul in charge of nuclear facilities, authorized to push the button for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 nuclear warheads, or spreading the life-threatening virus as COVID-19 pandemic, where the entire globe has to pay the price, which they can easily produce that in any laboratory. That is why extremely essential for materially based theories, even religions, to chew what they are saying, which history has often shown that what they say has left irreparable damage, dire repercussion, and nasty consequences. And that's a fact. Anytime, now more than any time, humanity needs to pay attention to oneness, that no man is an island, truly giving meaning to the children of Adam. Here is what Sadi, the Persian poet, Sadi Shirazi is a Persian poet. Here is what he says, which, by the way, is engraved in front of United Nations. This, I'm going to read to you, is engraved in front of the United Nations by Sadi, the Persian poet. He says, human beings are members of a whole, in creation of one essence and soul. If one member is afflicted with pain, other members uneasy will remain. If you have no sympathy for human pain, the name of human you cannot retain. And that's is something right in front of the United Nations. And here is what the American theoretical physicist, mathematician, and string theorist Brian Greene said, quote, "Science is very good at answering the how questions. How did the universe evolve to the form that we see? But it is awfully meaning severely, sadly, painfully, and greatly inadequate in addressing the why question. Why is there a universe at all? These are the meaning question which many people think religious is particularly good at dealing with." Brian Greene is an American physicist, mathematician, and string theory. Very good guy, very prominent guy. And to quote Sir Francis Bacon, he said, "A little philosophy inclines man's mind to atheism, but depth in philosophy brings man's mind to about religious." Putting emphasis on religious and how can they leverage our soul and spirit to reach our Heavenly Father. Now, I'm going to read some of the stuff that science cannot deal with, and any common sense, any minds of reason, any intelligent person can discern that. It says, for one, why there is a universe at all? Who am I? Who are we? Science cannot answer. Why are we here? Where did we come from? Where are we heading? What is the meaning of life? What is happiness? Is there life after death? Where does space-time come from? What is out there? Is reality an illusion? Why people respect the dead more than the livings? Should we accordingly expect punishment or rewards after we expire? If not, why not? Why is there something rather than nothing? Is our universe real? Because mind, universe, numbers, and many other things. Consciousness, they are concept-oriented entities. They are not tangible. You can grasp them in your mind, but you will never be able to fathom them because, well, we know universe, but universe, they say, has like billions of galaxies and trillions of planets. I cannot grasp that. Nobody can grasp that. Or your mind, mindfulness. What is can you convey? Can you put mindfulness in a dish? Can you contain it? Or consciousness? Or numbers? Or the space? Or time? No one can. What doesn't make sense to you is everything that makes this life, galaxies, and the cosmos and beyond possible. And that's a fact. I read this to you, maybe interest you. It says, I talked about it, but why intelligence, memories? Now, things that you do not see manages what you see. Imagine yourself, God forbid, without memory. You cannot live 1 hour. No memory. You will not differentiate if this is a church or this is a bar. You must have assistant to move you. But you don't see it. It's not plausible. It's not materialized. It's not substantiated. You don't see it. Your mindfulness, you don't see it. Your consciousness, you don't see it. You don't see it. Space, you don't see it. Time, you don't see it. God, you don't see it. It's beyond the space and time. The universe itself, you don't see it. It's just a concept-oriented entity in an abstract term. Now, it says, why intelligent memories, feelings, emotion, consciousness, thought process, time, space, motion, the universe itself, and the entire cosmos, as concept-oriented as they are, cannot be materialized. They are not tangible. Why only the effects are sensed, mentally grasped? Only the effects. Why can we not locate the ghost inside? Who are we? Why we can imagine anything within our brain, anything. Or like holding a loved ones, or walking on a white sandy beach, anything, or walking in the moon, but you cannot find anybody inside. Why? Why can't you, when they put the biggest magnifier, the biggest telescope, they cannot find anything inside. That's what you imagine and what you think. So these are all crucial that we need to pay attention to. But in a materially based society, that's out of hand. That's out of reach. In a materially based society, that's out of reach. It's up to person to be wise enough, intelligent enough, moral enough, not to cause any moral turpitude, and link to Him. It's only up to the individual. And with as sacred as freedom, democracy, and liberty, and human rights, and the pursuit of happiness is, you cannot force anybody. That's why America is America. Not that it doesn't have its flaws, but the nucleus of the kernel of the walnut is the pursuit of happiness, liberty, democracy, freedom for all. And that's very attuned with human spirit. Very attuned to human spirit. Because it is an inseparable part of your soul. It's not your hand so you can chop it out, or your finger. It's an inseparable part of your soul, your spirit. You must be free. He created you free. He's not going to go against His word. Freedom, democracy, liberty, human right, the pursuit of happiness is an inseparable part of the image of God. And that's a fact. Here is what Heisenberg says. Heisenberg is a top echelon is a physicist, and many of these people that I name, Max Planck, Bauer, Heisenberg, they are top echelon in physics. He says, what we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. And may only God help us when the wrong method of questioning is substantiated. The wrong answers, it sure can leave irreparable damage behind with very dire consequences, as social Darwinism has. Let's play the devil advocates, and let's say matter is the cause of existence, as they say. Let's say matter has caused this entire universe. Let's play the devil's advocate. Are you talking about the unanimated, spiritless, unintelligent, dull, senseless, non-local, unstable, emotionless, exhausted of any feeling matter? Or do you mean an intelligent, oriented being, animated, consciously driven, mindful with emotion and feeling, and host of other marvels like human beings? No matter can behave non-local. No matter, only a spirit can behave non-local. Now, since the quantum soup, which is behind everything visible, is entirely energy-oriented, putting an end to the reductionist view that they believe they can simulate life in a laboratory, and as Paul Davies, a good American physicist, said, the secret of life won't be cooked up in the chemistry lab. That's what he says. And if you are indicating to mankind, we sure are made of two parts. One physical, that is plausible, it is seen and visible. The other not seen, not visible, not containable, which is the part that is running the show, the part that is not seen. To do with the matter. Okay, now, it is your intelligence, your memory that you cannot do without. It is the impact of environment on your senses. The impact of the environment on your senses that makes your living possible. That makes your living possible. It is how the nervous system and your brain communicate with your senses, instructing them what to do, and vice versa, taking orders that you do not see. It is the conducts of thousands of hormones in your brain and the body that are invisible to the naked eye and cannot even be cannot be felt, that balances your behavior and modes and host of other vital functions. It is you that even with the most sophisticated magnifier cannot be found inside of you. So then I ask this question: are we talking about the one that sacrifices, values, respect, empathizes, has compassion, integrity, consideration, seeking knowledge, hopes, imagination, dreams, inspires, seeks fairness, dies for freedom, justice, and liberty? It pursues happiness, pushes for orderly living, hates pain and suffering, appreciates, values courage, rebels, reveres God, feels like dying when a loved one is gone, goes out of his way to help others, is loyal with devotion, passion, urges, and carries the impetus to procreate, loses one's life to save others, believes in work and purpose, believes in dignity, objects in human action, seeks peace, has intelligence, mindfulness, conscience, has will, chooses, resents prejudice, does not identify with superiority complex or inferiority complex, and thousands of other heavenly anointed attributes. Which one are you? Which one do you matter seekers talking about? Human nature is so deep that even the wittiest and the competent psychologists and psychiatrists often cannot diagnose what the patient, he or she, is all about, only prescribing medicine frequently with no availability of correct prognosis. No prognosis, no correct prognosis, just bunch of medicine. It's a very difficult, it's a callus type of, when you have callus in your hand, sometimes it can also penetrate the brain. And it takes time. It takes good role model. It takes good teachers. It takes a decent environment. Many variables are involved for a human being to grow. And you know, when you grow an inch, if you have heard about a miracle, this is as good as a miracle. Like a pearl in a shell, in a seashell. Growing up is the key. And living it. And living it. And not to behave hypocrite for any reason. Money, fame, whatever it is. Because you will eventually get there. You will get there. Where the soul will separate, and the body that takes this soul and the spirit will go to them. They say, we came from the dust, and to the dust we shall return. That's not a lie, but only your physical part. Because when they look inside of you, they cannot find you. You cannot find you. Where are you? Are you in your heart? Are you in your brain? In your ligament? Neurons? Synapses? Spleen? Muscles? Skeletons? Aortas? Esophagus? Where are you? Show me. Show me, where are you? You are nowhere to be found. You are nowhere to be found. And lucky enough, with the grace of God, the only creature that can have outside body experience, the only creature that can have outside of body experience, in other words, you are part of cosmic energy. And if anybody tells you otherwise, it's a lie. You are part of the cosmic energy. And whoever messes with you, taking chunk of the Father away. You are as good as God. You are part of Him. He said, I made you in my image. You can't put your knee in somebody's neck that's already on the floor and handcuffed and squeeze good life out of him. That's not in His image. I might be secondary, third, or fourth citizen, but I'm a human being. And you were in my position, and you and I, 99.99999 billion of percent the same. And if they take all the space out of an atom, which is 99.139 in front of it, 13, which is nothing, they can squeeze us all in a cube sugar. In a cube sugar. 8 billion of us. And that's a fact. That's not philosophy. That's science. That's what they're saying. And that's what made them to turn to God. Many of them. To turn to God. God says, this is the line of work I do. 99.99999999999 99 with 13.9 in front of it, 0.9 in front of it. That means nothing. So if they squeeze us all, they can squeeze us all in a cube sugar. In a cube sugar. And then they say there is no God. And then they say there is no God. I mean, any type of assessment or mentality as such, honest to God, should see a psychiatrist. Or a psychologist, a psychiatrist, somebody to help him out. Because minds of reason doesn't say that. Empirical work doesn't say that. In the world of science, laboratories, they don't say that. That's what they say. Let me tell you something about subconscious mind and mind. Conscious mind and subconscious mind. That's all over psychology. 95% of whatever you do is subconscious. 5% is only conscious. Whatever you do, 5% of it is conscious. 95% of it, go research Google, any book. 95% of it is subconscious. That means without your will, without you wanting it, without you wanting to do something, you do it. Let's say hedonism. Hedonism is a concept, is a philosophy. Hedonism, hedonic person that says pleasure is all there is. pleasure of body. That's all it is. And guess who conditions this person? And guess who conditions genocide? Killing people, monsters like Hitler, Rwanda, Turks, killing millions of Armenian Christians, and you name it, and you name it, and on and on and on. Because materially based theories, where say survival of the fittest is the key, that you can do anything you want to come up, that survival of the fittest is the key. You are all physical, and you deserve to live, the rest they don't deserve to live. This is a material, that's Darwinism, that's social Darwinism. Now, Darwinism also has a biological Darwinism. That's why they say people in the position of power, fame, prestige, they must watch their saying. Because there's too many millions, even billions, people vulnerable to stupidity that they will grasp it. But they don't know what they're doing. And that's a fact. It was under the point of sword. No one volunteered and said, hey, I want to come and take me. I want to be. No, we had different faith. We had different agendas. We had different atmosphere. We were not. Iran was not originally was not a Muslim country like many other places.
So everyone knows, Iran used to be Persian.
Right, Iran used to be Persian.
Persia had all kinds of Christian religion too, because Christians.
They had some, of course, but they also had some other, like they believe in a spirit, in the spirit of nature. They believe in a higher God, but then that's what happened. 1400 years ago, they were invaded because Iran was a big empire. It was a really big empire, but at that particular time it was weak. It was very weak and vulnerable, and that's what happened. They took over. So
That's why when I studied in the Bible,
right,
it says Persian, it shows the maps of Persia.
right.
And then finally, here's one that says formally, no.
I'm sure you must have noticed Cyrus the Great and how he dealt with Jewish people. He announced that no one has the right to do these people wrong, and we have to treat them like our own until they find their own place. If they're willing to leave, if they want to stay, they're more than welcome. That's what it says here. We were not of terrorist-oriented nature 2,000 years ago. These people are peace-loving people, but they are just.
So now Iran is lining up with Russia to go against Israel.
Well, Russia, actually, we always have to go to the history. Russia took half of Iran. Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, they took half of Iran. Russian did. But now they're working together. Yes. It's a sad situation. Let's put it this way. It's a very sad situation that Iranian people are. It's a rich country.
I'm so happy to hear tonight because today I got an email from my district who are on my ministry that they're collecting donations to send Bibles to Iran.
Right. It's very difficult. Let's put it this way. It's
That's what they said. Anyone talking about it?
it's tightly controlled. It's a sad situation. It's a sad. If you would give a choice to people, it would be not 99%, but 100% different. If people had a choice. No. But
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Christian radio station,
Yes.
they said that Iran was the fastest growing Christian faith in the world.
Well, it doesn't surprise me really.
Yeah, when it was like a trivia question.
It doesn't surprise me.
No, exactly.
Again, people is about all education. It's about enlightenment. It's about awakening. When you don't know things and you judge things, that's the biggest sin. You cannot judge things or blame somebody without knowing the whole story. I mean, that's the basic, steps in life. Anybody should abide by that. You can't just blame people without knowing the whole story. And wasn't it Jesus that said, put yourself in the position of the person that you're dealing with? That's what he said. And if nobody has been in that position, they have no right to judge. But may God bless you all, and maybe some other time we can delve deeper into these things and take it from there. But I'm so happy that you have brought me here to these brothers and sisters. I really appreciate you all. So it's a life that we have to mind. We have to live it. And that is very true. That is very true. May God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.